Wow. Can you guys believe January is almost over? That's crazy. Man, 2024 has definitely been pushing the pedal to the metal. I want to take this week's episode to introduce Bees Bookies Book of the Month Club. That's right. So my goal right now is to introduce sort of my book or books of the month. And wait, hold on. Before we jump in, y'all remember how we do. Lag out. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the B Word. I'm your host, B. Alexander, and this week's B Word is books. Yeah, the nice little crisp things with the little binding in the back. You know, you open it up, it makes this very subtle creaking sound, if you will. You know what? Just as Bomani Arma said back in the early 2000s, read a book. Read a book. Read a mother effing book. Okay? That has been my mantra, at least the one that's been playing in the back of my mind since the beginning of the year. So what better way to share a literary passion than to podcast about it? I mean, book is just another B word, and it encompasses so very much. There's so many genres to choose from that it can be difficult to pick just one, which is why during the Books of the Month podcast, I will share what I've been reading and what I've got coming up on deck. Some of them may surprise you because, well, so far it surprised me. Some of it may not. Let's find out. In addition to laying out some literature, I welcome recommendations so that way we can share in the wonders of reading together. Yeah. So January's book episode features only 2 books, but trust me, they weren't all as easily digested, if you will. So, the first book on deck, we've got How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera, who actually founded The Holistic Psychologist on social media. Dr. LePera has become well known on social media for their approach when it comes to psychology, and this book sort of seems like a culmination of a lot of the stuff that they teach. So I'll be honest with you. I stumbled across this book while searching for that perfect book to jumpstart this podcast. And let's just say that technically, actually, it didn't disappoint. I stumbled across this book while searching for a few good reads to start the year. I don't know really if it was the cover of the book or the fact that it read like a challenge to me. Like, it was like, yo, you trying to be a better you? I got you. I mean, that's if you can do the work. Okay, that's not really what happened. But either way, I picked this book, and shortly after, I really ended up picking up a pen to follow along with what I was reading. See, I was jotting down notes about phrases that I found interesting and to answer some of the questions that were posed. This book, let me tell y'all, it's going to go in there. So if you pick it up, you'll find out for yourself, because this book also features journal writing prompts to help guide readers or listeners, depending on how you prefer to intake your books, as they heal for their future selves. As a person who has experienced chronic pain and fatigue, that would be unimaginable to others, right? Like, it just that concept of even sometimes what it even looks like in the future, or who you could even become. So sometimes, it leads me to really wonder about alternative ways to really heal myself. This book identifies that connection between the mind and the body and explores how one can heal the other. Like, I don't want to give too much about the book away, But I do want to share that there are moments during this book that will cause you to pause. Maybe even put the book down because maybe you aren't there yet in your healing journey. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. I think that for me, I recognized when I was about 90% done with the book that I started not reading it to digest it. I was just reading to read it and get through it, which doesn't feel like the proper way to handle this book. See, I was only trying to reach the goal of completing the text. But if you actually want to do the work, then I'm going to have to say that it can't be about simply finishing a book. It's about applying what you're learning to yourself and see if that helps you in your journey or helps you heal. Because there's so many different things that we do have to heal from as people. And sometimes we don't even really recognize what those things are. And I think that this book kind of guides you and helps you to identify some of those things. So some people may connect with the book differently, and that is also okay. But if you want to give it a try, if you want to see if you can break certain cycles in your life, go for it. I mean, it is just a book, right? Next up, the second book that I read was King and the Dragonflies by Callender, by Kacen Callender. If I butcher anyone's name during this podcast, I sincerely apologize, as that was never my intentions, but I do want to recognize that sometimes I may not know how things are pronounced, and that's okay. So if you want to correct me on social media, do so, but with kindness, because I didn't mean any malintent if I did pronounce anyone's names incorrectly. Going back, some of you may wonder why this book, King and the Dragonflies. Let me tell you, honestly, I read this book as sort of a vetting process for my little cousin. This book was recommended to them by someone, and I wasn't really sure what the context of the book and if this was something that, you're supposed to be out here giving other people's kids. Like I said, it's a cousin. I ain't got no kids. So let's be honest, it's kind of weird to just be giving out books if you don't know what the book contains. I did what any decent human being would do. I read it first. Let me be clear. According to Callender's website, this book is intended for middles. So not the YA or young adult section so much as it's for sort of those middle schoolers, maybe even high schoolers, as they're growing up. But let's really be honest. I don't care who this book was intended for. Oh my God. The story was beautifully written. And I think that this is something that kids and adults can enjoy. It's a quick read. So, not too much time would be given, but it's well worth every moment that you spend with it. When I say that this book low-key had me in tears, I wouldn't tell you that because I really just got something in my eye and you can't prove otherwise, okay? So, no. No, but seriously, the story and the way in which the words were crafted was a great experience. So just to give you a little bit about what the book is about, the story follows a young boy named Kingston, aka King, as he navigates the bayou of Louisiana and learns more about who he wants to be and how to be brave enough to be himself. In a world full of people who were defining him, King breaks the molds that were prepared for him to become the version of King that he knows and wants to be. Told y'all, this book, it goes. Okay, so no spoilers over here, at least not yet. I still recommend this book, hands down. It was a great read. Now, let me tell you what I got coming up next month, y'all. Because y'all, okay, follow me. Coming up for next month's reading, I have a few memoirs on deck. And if you know me, you won't be surprised who hit the list this time. So that means we've got Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, Viola Davis, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, that Matthew McConaughey. See, I know you didn't see that one coming. I'm telling you, you didn't see that one coming. That's okay. I got you. We also got on the list, I plan on checking out Kacen Callender's. This is kind of an epic love story, as well as Kacen Callender's Felix Ever After. Lastly, I plan on continuing the work and complete the workbook from Dr. Nicole LaPera on how to meet yourself. Check that out. Okay. So just to recap, this is everything I got planned coming up. Okay. Bear with it. It's a doozy. It's a doozy of a list. So if you're ready, let's go. So I said okay. I'm over here getting tongue tied. My bad. Let's try that again. So to recap, and I'll be fair, I might not make it through all of these by next time we speak about books, but we have on deck Worthy by Jada Pinkett Smith, Will by Will Smith, Finding Me by Viola Davis, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, This Is Kind of an Epic Love Story by Kacen Callender, Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender, and Dr. Nicole LaPera's How to Meet Yourself. Woo-wee. Oh man, sounds like I got my work cut out for me. I guess there's only one thing for me to do, and that's go ahead and get started. As always, this is B. Alexander. You're listening to the B Word. And in the words of Bomani Arma, please read a book, read a mother fudging book. Brush your teeth, brush your goddamn teeth. Your body needs water, so drink that stuff. Your body needs water, so drink that stuff. Buy some land, F spinning rims, and let's not to forget to wear deodorant. It's called Speed Stick, and apparently it's not expensive. And if, you're a little more relaxed, chill, and would like to throw it back to those butterflies in the sky, can you fly twice as high? Because you could take a look, because it's in a book, and you can thank LeVar Burton for that. Thank you for joining me on this adventure in reading. I'll see you next week.